else. But I happened to see a little blurb in the paper that Herb had put in that a community group was trying to restore the pond and get rid of some of the invasive mangrove, and the community members were invited to come down and pull mangrove. And don't ask me why, but we went. Me and I think 3 or 4 students on a Saturday morning, have no idea what to expect, but we got there and pulled mangrove for a few hours, and I think we were all transformed by that experience. So the kids went back to school and shared how much fun they had and how exciting it was and how gross and muddy it was and all those fun things. And a lot happened in my head and in my experience that I can't recall at the moment, but what evolved was, this is a way to reach alienated students and empower them in their own community, basically in their own backyards, to do some good in the world. And oh, by the way, maybe learn some science too. And a lot of things just fell into place. But the bottom line was, having this project, this authentic project in their own community, in their own culture, help these students to vastly exceed, I think, their own expectations of their own education. And we saw them just come alive as learners, learners and ambassadors. Then they went back and shared the learning. So it was a beautiful ripple effect. And I'll treasure it.
One of the members of the board, the Waikoloa Local Fish Pond Preservation Society, was a high school teacher up here at Castle, Sheila Cyboron. She was teaching a class of students that were completely failing, or bored out of their minds, get me out of here kind of thing. She brought them down here. They took ownership. These students came down and said, "You mean my ancestors did this? You mean my ancestors understood how this works?" And it gave them a meaning. It made their lives significant. And this is when we first really realized the significance that's embedded in the fish pond. I mean, we were bringing college students down, doing labs like Dave mentioned. I had them down here doing oceanographic work, currents, all kinds of things, bathymetry, how, the pond depths changing, flushing rate, all this kind of stuff. But these students took ownership, and it changed their lives. They went back to Castle. They took interest in what their education. That is the significance of this pond as an educational facility. It teaches kids, local kids, what has happened here before, how their ancestors lived and survived. It's an educational masterpiece.
So that's one additional thing in that regards, and that is because they do service at the fish pond, right? And they learn about the value of service and kuleana. What is beautiful is, for a lot of these, whether they're Windward students from Castle High School, is subsequent to their first introduction to the fish pond, I'd come to a community work day, and these students showed up, right, on their own. They didn't have to be coerced or dragged in or given extra credit. They were here because they love this idea of giving back, right?
That's right. And we made them team leaders too.
Yeah.
On the work day.
Yeah. So it was. There's so much value to the fish pond, all these different levels, So it's really great.
I remember the first day Sheila came down with her students. They were confused and rebellious, and there was lots of hana ino going on between the boys and the girls. And by the second or third hour, these kids were transformed. They were
Mhm.
totally focused on what they were doing. It was quite amazing, and it was the place that did it to them, and the experience of this. And you know, as you said, Floyd, that hey, my ancestors built this thing, and you imagine this is one fish pond of how many fish ponds across the state